Hi there, my name is Sarah and I'm outside at the Bees Ferry West Ashley Library branch to film a video today for you on how to make recycled paper. Recycled paper is pretty easy to make, just use some scrap paper, and let's go ahead and get started. So supplies you're going to need a blender. Do not use a blender that you use for your smoothies or anything else. Get something from like a thrift store or an old blender because you won't want to use this after you use it with paper. You're going to need your shredded paper. I've already have my shredded paper here in a bowl. A sponge. I'm going to use dishcloths. You can use paper towels or some kind of blotting paper. I have a tub that is filled halfway with water here. You're going to want to have it filled enough with water that it's going to cover your mold. So this is your mold here. You can make these a lot of different ways. This one has Velcro straps that will hold the base of the mold, as well as I have my screens. This is my screen to use after, and then this is the screen that I'm going to use to drain the water out of the paper after we make our pulp. So let's go ahead and get started with making it. So the first step in making your recycled paper is to soak your shredded paper overnight. So I let this sit in water. I covered it with water and let it sit overnight. That's going to help with your texture of your paper. You want it to absorb as much water as you can. So just put some of your shredded paper overnight in the water, and then we're going to add it to the blender. And we're going to blend that up into a pulp. And if it's not blending, just add some more water. After you blend your paper, it's going to look a little something like this. Really pulpy mixture. And next comes the fun part. It's actually making your paper. So I've assembled my screen here. I have my base as well as I have the screen laid nice and flat in there. You want to make sure your screen is nice and tight in your whatever kind of mold you're using. Some people use picture frames, old picture frames with the screen attached. So make sure it's nice and tight. And I'm going to place that in my water. Now that I have my screen fully submerged in my water, I'm going to add my pulp. And then you're going to want to loosen it up in the water. Shake it around a little, loosen it up. Make sure it looks evenly covered over your mold. And then you're going to slowly bring it out of the water. Move it around a little so that all the water falls out. Set that on the table and move my water out of the way. I'm going to take off my mold. You can see we have our paper shape. And that's what it's going to look like. And I'm just using a dishcloth. I'm going to place my second screen over, and you're going to sponge out the extra water. Rinse my sponge out. I'm going to take my base off so my paper's in my two screens. And keep sponging it some more. You really want to press down and get the most moisture out. That way you have a flat sheet of paper and then it will dry quicker. It's going to take about 1 to 3 days to dry depending on the thickness of your paper. Point flip, take my screen off. The next part can be a little tricky, but you want to just do it in one motion. You just got to find the right corner to peel it from. Little trial and error. Then, now you're going to have your paper. You're going to want to transfer this to a flat surface. There's a couple different methods that you can use to dry it out. Dry out your paper, you can either layer paper towels and then stack books on top to help soak out and flatten and press the moisture out. You can let it air dry, you can run a blow dryer over it. I'm just going to let mine air dry and then I'll show you what it looks like. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope that you take this and learn how to make some recycled paper of your own. It's a great way to do some recycled activities this summer. And you can take your paper, make a journal, write down tales of your travels that you go on this summer, sketch, draw, anything that you want to use your paper for. Have a good one.